In part 34 of Emblem Engage, Alir is joined by Marvier and Marnie, who we're on kind of okay terms with, since they both kind of hate Zephyr for, the whole fireball thing, and are concerned for Vale's safety. Marvier lets us know that they're heading to Lethos because Sombron and Vale are heading there to raise Granlon, which is an unholy land of Sombron that sunk beneath the water 1,000 years ago. It's being held there by the Divine Dragon Shard, and so Sombron intends to destroy it and bring back his land. Although it is just the stepping stone, as his ultimate plan is conquering other worlds. So, we also hear a bit about Vale's backstory, which, long story short, boils down to being a child of the Fell Dragon, but was too young to fight in the war 1,000 years ago, and since then has been hunted down and has been alone and sad. So we feel kind of bad for her. Reach Lethos to Zephyr's shock, followed by the shock to see that Marvier and Marnie brought us. Marvier just wants Vale to meet Alir since she was the sibling that she's been searching for so long for. Unfortunately, Zephyr already used her fancy mind control helmet thing, and it's not good. Marnie feels really bad for Vale and wants to destroy the helmet, but even with all of her might, can't do any damage to it. Zephyr then very casually stabs Marnie and kills her, but Zephyr's a mage with mid-strength while using what looks like an iron sword on an armor knight. How'd she die to one stab? Either way, she dies, and Marvier decides to straight up join us instead of this uneasy alliance we've had prior to this. Now we have Marvier as an ally, let's talk about him. He's a Royal Knight, which is a Lance Cavalier that can use staves. He's kind of like a jack of all trades with solid attack and magic and some good bulk, but nothing is too crazy. He really feels like a unit that's just meant to be thrown into any team, as this is one of the last units that we recruit, and we now have more open team slots in most of our battles. Either way, I used my last run, so skip. So we start the chapter, and we're at the end of this wide open hall with a bunch of those true damage wyverns, reinforcements that spawn in, plus 2 bosses in Zephyr and Vale. So I start by spreading out and trying to take out as many of the wyverns to give us some safe spaces for our healers and our squishy people. Bouchard and Alir with his summons keep pushing up to try and take on the bosses, while Marvier supports with some damage and heals. Zephyr is actually not too bad since she is a squishy mage and only has 2 health bars, so she's more manageable. Plus she actually moves around and dives us really early on so we can jump and burst her down with my entire squad before we all do the big spread. While we manage the reinforcements, they also try and push forward, but the sheer number of reinforcements in our starting area make it really tough. Vale is in a even tougher spot, so I use a summon to try and aggro her so I have to fight her with the wyvern and the other enemies at the same time. Although we have a bit of panic when it comes in that reinforcements come not only on the sides of the map and the back of the map, but also right next to Vale. So we kind of have to do this right now, or we're going to have to survive an onslaught of attacks. Luckily, most of my units are close to Vale as they've been pushed forward by the enemies respawning in the back because they come out a dozen at a time. So I move all my units really close and we are able to burst down Vale, all 3 of her health bars in a single turn so we don't have to try and survive whatever that next turn of 50 enemies would entail. And with that, the chapter ends. We get a post-battle cutscene where we see that Mari's attack didn't destroy the helm, but did do enough that the original Vale was able to return. She handed back Marth's ring to us. Then remember that, Sombron's still there, the giant dragon, and so he tries to kill Vale now that she's no longer under his control. Alir then jumps in the way and takes the blast, dying in the process. Sombron then steals all the rings, brings back Granlon, and leaves. Everybody's really sad, but Vale remembers that she has the power to bring back Corrupted. So she uses that to bring back Alir as a corrupted, but one who can speak and think like King Morian we saw way back when. So Alir is now undead, and we've lost all of our emblem rings, so, what now?